So I've got it on record, and I'm going to welcome Loretto and Sue, who are going to talk to us today about aromatherapy for home use, which is absolutely wonderful. Something to raise our spirits, keep our spirits up as we go through. So even though we've got the slide in that order, I actually think it's Loretto who's going to start. So I shall hand you over to Loretto.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. That's the first thing. Great, lovely to see you here. This afternoon session is aimed at providing you with information on how to safely prepare and use aromatherapy products at home. Now, I know given our audience that we've got a lot of very experienced people who are well used to using aromatherapy, but I still hope you'll find this session useful. And Sue will follow on with her session after I've done this. And at the end, I think we're both prepared to take questions that may occur. So if we can have the next slide, please. At this time, we're all facing quite substantial challenges presented by the COVID-19 virus. So we thought we'd give it a bit of airtime. And in order to help us do that, and given all the information that's been coming out over the last few months, what we aim to do today is, next slide please, is provide some information and some oils we can use that will help us reduce the symptoms and stress and anxiety that many of us are feeling, induced by anxiety about health, separation from friends and family, a change to our normal freedom of movement and way of life, and that is having an effect on quite a lot of people. We also need a strong immune system in order for us to be able to deal with any viruses that come our way, or indeed other conditions we may be subject to, and to help combat those viruses if and when they do arrive. It's been obvious, I think, from the outset that the coronavirus has been particularly aggressive against people's immune respiratory system. And we've heard of initially sore throats, progressing to infections of the lungs and pneumonia, and very, very sadly, so many people have succumbed to those infections. And so today, those are the oils we'll be looking at to enable us to cope with these challenges. Next slide, please. So what is aromatherapy? Well, we've probably got several definitions, but the one that has always made sense to me is that aromatherapy is the controlled use of essential oils to promote and maintain the well-being of body, mind and spirit. And I've got a little cutting here that I thought might interest you because it links in with this. And this is attributed to Plato in 350 BC. And it says, "Cure of a part should not be attempted without treatment of the whole. No attempt should be made to cure the body without the soul. The greatest error of our day," and this is 350 BC, if you please, "is that in the treatment of the human body, physicians first separate the soul from the body." So I think Plato would have been very comfortable with the ethos of the Cancer Support Centre and indeed with the definition of aromatherapy. So what are essential oils? Well, they are aromatic, non-greasy plant extracts, and they're composed only of the volatile molecules of the plant, hence we get the aroma. Next slide, please. For today's session, and given the aims I've just said, I've picked 6 fairly commonly available and known plants, and consequently the oils from those. And We've gone for lemon, lavender, which is Lavandula angustifolia, rosemary. Many of us may be familiar with rosemary in our gardens or from somebody else's hedge, sweet orange, tea tree, and frankincense. Some we may be more familiar with than others. I've given the generic names for each of them because in order to help any clients who wanted to purchase oils, it's important that we purchase oils that are true, pure essential oils, and the descriptions on the bottle should give the generic name and also some indication of how to safely use. Next slide, please. The reason we've picked those is because they meet all of the criteria we've set in trying to deal with the challenges of the coronaviruses. They're all antiviral or of antiviral chemicals contained within the constituents. They're all got uplifting, emotionally balancing, calming, anxiety reducing properties with them. Most of them are also got evidence to support an immune system tonic effect, that they boost our immune system. And although I couldn't find any evidence that rosemary does that, we will know, those of us who smell rosemary, it's very uplifting. It just smells gorgeous, clears our heads, clears our headaches, and makes us feel good. And anything that makes us feel good boosts our immune system by releasing endorphins. So I think that by default, it probably does boost our immune system. And the other one is the really important respiratory support because of the target area for the virus is very much our respiratory system. At the bottom of the table, I've given an indication of the cost of these oils, because again, these are oils that are relatively easily obtained, or at the cheaper end, perhaps, of the essential oil spectrum, and vary in price, as I've found from comparing several suppliers. For a 10 ml bottle, which is about that size, it's only little. It ranged really from about £4 for the citrus oils up to starting price of approximately £10 for frankincense. What I would just remind people of is that for that £4 or £5, you actually get in a 10 ml bottle, you get at least 200 drops of an essential oil. So while it may seem an expensive expenditure initially, you don't have to buy all of these, but I would suggest maybe if buying 2 or 3, and just bearing in mind that we're going to be using only between 5 and 8 drops if making up an air spray or using it in an aroma stream, or putting a drop of frankincense into your face cream might be a good thing. Next slide, please. I've put up just some indication of suppliers that I've used, and some of whom we've also used in ordering for the Cancer Support Centre. And this is because I think it's really important for clients who are coming to aromatherapy as newcomers, that you know that for the money you're paying, you're going to get real value for money. And these are all suppliers who have got ethical factors. Oh, Sue, are you all right?
It's all right. One of the kittens has jumped on my back. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
So these suppliers are among others who are, also very reliable. But it's important that when purchasing, that we know they're coming from a reliable source. These suppliers will have had their supplies of oils tested in chemical laboratories to ensure that they've got the right components that one would expect. And so therefore, it's just an indication of possible suppliers that clients might want to look into. So next slide, please. Okay. So in order to, one of the first things I started when this virus began to pose a threat to us all was become aware that this is an airborne virus, and I thought it would be useful to make up an air spray to use at home, to use in the porch, to spray families that came back in if they've been outside. And so using a 50 ml glass bottle, which is with a spray top, which is about this size, it's 50 mils, and the spray, just for those of you who aren't familiar with it, the spray little cap comes off, and there's a clear indication of which direction to spray it in, away from face and hands. So using a 50 ml glass spray bottle, and I'm saying glass because the chemicals from plastic can leach out into aromatherapy products. So if at all possible, I would say using a glass bottle. I've gone for a smaller size, 50 ml, in that because there aren't any preservatives in these blends that we're making up for home use. And so we need to really make up a fresh blend about every 2 weeks. So if we've got a smaller bottle, we're going to use up what we've got, get the best use out of our lovely oils, and make up some fresh next time. And if you've got a range of oils, then you can mix and match to suit your own preference. These are scent. Scent is the best way of getting things into our bodies. And so it is important that we're comfortable with it. We need to like it. We'll have found that when going for a massage treatment, it's really important that we like the scent. We test it. We give our clients a chance to smell whatever blend we make up for them before we actually apply it to the bodies. And so likewise, when making our own, we've got even more choice. So having put our drops into the bottle of our respective essential oils, we then top up with water, replace the spray cap tightly, shake well before use. Oils and water do not mix. The oil will float to the top. That's what happens in the distillation process. When the oil has been obtained from the plants, it's been forced out of the plant, it floats to the top, and what's left is floral water. So when we go to use it, it's really important to give it a good shake. Mix it and spray it in a room that's well ventilated, especially if they're children or animals, because those of you who've got little lovely furries in the house will find that they'll make their own choice. If you're blending oils, they will choose to stay or to go, and so they need an escape route. So we're going to spray it away from face and hands towards the ceiling. And the other thing is to label it and store in a cool, dark place. Oils, when exposed to sunlight, begin to oxidize and break down to a degree. And the scent can become more intense and would possibly be problematic for anyone who's sensitive to any of the oils. But we'll talk about cautions at the end. Next slide, please. So I've done another blend, and this is one of my very favorites. I love orange and frankincense, go really well together. So this is just a suggestion, but of whatever oils you've got at home, you can mix and match And at the end of the session, I'll be happy to talk about any you may have that are different to these we're talking about today. So this time I've chosen again a 50 ml glass spray top bottle, 8 drops of sweet orange, 8 drops of rosemary, and 8 drops of frankincense. So in the sweet orange, we've got the anti-infective, antibacterial, antiviral aspect. With the rosemary, we've got the respiratory aspect, because some of the chemicals it contains are really good for our breathing. And we've got the frankincense that will relax, calm, help us balance ourselves at these trying times, but also extremely useful for breathing, and it's helpful with conditions such as bronchitis and asthma. Again, it's the same method of making it up. We top up with water, replace our spray top tightly, shake well before each use, and spray in an upward direction away from face and hands. And again, the same cautions apply. The oils I've chosen today are all oils that really are described as being safe for use with children. And for those of you aromatherapists that have avoided oils that we might more commonly choose, that are stronger scents, but because they have got some cautions and risks involved for young children, that is why there was no need to include them. These are perfectly adequate. They're antiviral, respiratory, calming and relaxing, and immune boosting. Next slide, please, Annie. So the next thing I thought would be good to use is to think about diffusing oils into an area. And this is just an example of a diffuser. There are many, many on the market. And just at the outbreak of the virus, I purchased this one relatively cheaply in a local shop. And it's just a battery operated. It's got a pretty light. I'll find it. Yep. It's got a light that comes on and off. It's got a little pad on which you drop the oils, and is either run by battery or plugged into a computer. And it just forces, the fan forces the aroma of the oils out into the area. But there are many others, and it's a matter of personal choice, really, and cost. So for this blend, I've chosen 5 drops of lemon, 5 drops of rosemary, and 5 drops of tea tree. So each of the blends, I've tried to ensure that our aims of doing the session are being met by whatever oils I've chosen to put in. Again, personal choice, mix and match what you've got. With the diffusers, it's generally recommended that we run them or have them operational for no more than 30 minutes, and then have them off for about 60 minutes plus. But that can be gauged depending on your use of an area. If you're using it for a children's room, I can definitely use fewer drops and run it in advance, a couple of hours perhaps in advance of a child going into the room, and not renewing it again. Next one, please. Right, so here one of my very favourite personal toys, the aroma stick. These have been described by Peter Mackerett at the Christie as being portable, sniffable powerhouses of aromatherapy. Got it. And some of you are very familiar with these, but others may not. And they are a very personalised way of having our own supply of oil as and when we want it. They come in 4 parts. You've got an outer casing, which is the piece there standing up. put an inner case into which we put a wick, to which we add drops of essential oil, and then once they have been added, we put the cap on the end so it doesn't escape, put our guard on it, label it, because you do forget what you made, really do, and when we want to use it, it's generally recommended that we take about 3 sniffs in any 10-minute period, and that can be repeated 3 or 4 times a day. And it's best just to hold it close to our nostrils, and not really advisable to put it into your nostril. Just hold it and that's fine. In fact, the oils last for about 6 months in here. So they're quite a really good, cost-effective way of doing it. And clients at the centre may well have been given one of these or attended a session where we talked about aroma sticks. And these are going to be available, I think, by individual appointments, which was discussed at a meeting a couple of weeks ago. So for anyone who did want to order one, a couple of the therapists are in a position to provide them. And they're great. They go in a handbag, pocket, wherever you want, and can be discreetly used whenever and wherever. Next slide, please. Going back to the start of this pandemic, one of the things that made me aware of how serious it was and what a respiratory threat it was we were being told that the virus started as a sore throat in many cases and had then sadly developed from there. So it seems like a good idea to make up a gargle to use if we feel our throats are dry, we feel we may have been at risk or exposed to something. And so again, taken from our selection of 6 oils, our 6 for success today, I've chosen 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of tea tree, mixed into a teaspoonful of honey, and a teaspoon's 5 ml teaspoon, and then mixed in to 20 ml of cooled boiled water in a glass and used as a gargle. That has got the calming, anti-inflammatory effects of the lavender and the pain-relieving effects of both of them, along with the antiseptic, antiviral, antibacterial properties of both those oils, and of course the healing property of the honey, which makes them more palatable. And again, helps it mix through the water, because as we said before, oil and water don't really mix. Right, can we pass to the next? There are some general cautions. Aromatherapy is a lovely, lovely modality to use, and the scent of oil is so uplifting and invigorating. And in fact, although we may be more familiar with having aromatherapy massages, by smelling the oil, inhaling it, whether as an air spray, using it on an individual aroma stick, is the most effective way of getting the oils into our body. About up on 70% of it is actually absorbed and used in our bodies, whereas much less happens by applying it topically. But there are cautions, and just to go back to this, the first one is really the supply. You know, if we're going to spend good money on oils, we need to be sure we're getting value for that money. And also, if we're going to use them for a particular purpose, as we're doing, especially at this time, we want to be sure that they've got the antiviral properties we would expect. We want to be sure they're going to help uplift us and calm us. We want to be sure they're going to have the ability to give our immune systems a boost. So it's back to the supply. It's best to use within 6 months of opening, and this applies particularly to the citrus oils. So if we're going to be using them and enjoying them so much, that shouldn't be a problem. Ensure essential oils are labelled pure essential oil or true essential oil with the generic name when we buy them. I certainly wouldn't be buying from a market stall, but other than that, there are plenty of suppliers that, as I've shown earlier. Be aware of anyone in the household with a respiratory condition or known sensitivities. The oils can cause problems for people who are sensitive. So again, it's being aware of your household and not doing, and if you are worried or a bit wary, then test with 1 or 2 drops in a diffuser spray or in an air spray and see what the response is. Strong scents have been described as causing problems for people who are prone to seizures. So again, avoid using or spraying or diffusing any strong scents near people prone to seizures. And all essential oil problems should be kept well out of reach of children and sight, I would say. However, it can be fun to mix up blends with the child, but again, that has to be very, very stringently controlled by the adult, and the oils placed well out of reach once used. We do not use undiluted essential oils. All the ones I've described are diluted, and apart from those in the aroma stick, because we use those, the pure oils in there, but then we're going to use them at that distance, and we're not applying them onto skin or taken internally. Prepare blends in a well-ventilated space, away from direct heat and sunlight. These are volatile, they're also very flammable, highly flammable. So it's important in preparing them to be aware of our surroundings and think safety in all aspects first. And label with the list of contents, because we do forget, even from a small supply, it's quite easy to forget what we've used. And it's nice to be able to replicate something if you've enjoyed using it. All the blends are for external use only. Do not ingest. And that applies to the gargle as well. We just gargle our throat and mouth and spit it out. We do not swallow it. Shake the bottle of blended oil as well before each use, and spray away from face and eyes. So it may seem like a long list of cautions, but they're just simple precautionary things. And you know, these are a complex chemical mix. They are effective because of the chemical components they include. So therefore, it's having a respect for that. And yes, they are natural products, and they are very effective. They're effective because of their chemical components, and therefore it's just a matter of being aware and respecting it. Next slide, please. So in preparing today's session, I cross-referenced the information I thought I had, with several sources, many of whom some of you will recognise, and some of these authors also have their own aromatherapy companies and have written books and so on. So they're just two slides of bibliography. If anybody was interested in any, I'm sure Ali would send it to you, but we can discuss that afterwards. And I think that comes to the end of this session. I'd just like to thank you for your attention, and I hope you found it useful. And probably if there's any questions that come to mind now, you can either take them now, or depending how you want to run the session, if you want to do that after Sue's.
Shall we take them after Sue's? I think then we can pull them all together, just in case there are things that we're thinking about that Sue covers. So at this point, thank you so much, Loretto. And we're going to hand over to Sue now, who's going to talk about aromatherapy and what we can find in our cupboards. So over to you.
Hello, everybody. Loretto, that was brilliant. Thank you. I've actually made quite a few notes. I love your spray ideas as well. So I've been making loads of notes. So thank you so much. Brilliant. I want to do a slightly different take on aromatherapy because a lot of people aren't going to be able to get out and buy oils. Ordering online, again, as Loretto was saying, is making sure that they're good grade oils, which is really important. I've kind of thought, right, okay, what have I got in my cupboards? What's in the fruit bowl? What's in the garden? And one of the things I think most of us have in our garden is peppermint. It has a lovely fresh scent. It's a good aromatic oil, herb, and has many uses. It's been used for centuries by the Romans in particular. The leaves contain several essential oils, including menthol, which gives peppermint its cooling properties, menthone and limonene. One recognisable reason for peppermint, which most of us enjoy at some point or other in our lives, is peppermint tea. Sometimes had at the end of the meal because it's refreshing, it aids digestion, it relaxes the digestive system and it eases pain. It also prevents the smooth muscles from contracting, which relieves spasms in the gut. Many people who suffer with IBS are recommended to use peppermint, either peppermint capsules, which can be bought in herbal shops, or again, you can make up your own peppermint tea from natural leaves that you have in the garden. But I'll give you a recipe for that a little bit later on. Because peppermint acts as a muscle relaxant and a natural pain reliever, it can actually diminish certain types of headaches. The menthol in peppermint increases blood flow and providing a cooling sensation and potentially easing pain. So you can use a compress using cool water where peppermint has been previously used in boiled water, allowed to cool, and a towel or a flannel placed in there and popped onto the head. You're breathing in the fumes, which again, it helps relieve pain, it clears the sinuses and hopefully eases the headache itself. It can also be used to freshen the breath. So if we've all been out and had a curry, or we've cooked something in the house using garlic, chewing on natural peppermint leaves actually takes away the nasty smell of garlic, which some people obviously don't like. Peppermint, as we all know, it's used in toothpaste, mouthwashes, chewing gum. It has a pleasant smell and has antibacterial properties that does actually help to kill germs. Peppermint is one of the essential oils that mixes well with tea tree and lemon, as Loretto had mentioned. Using boiled peppermint leaves actually helps to relieve unblocked sinuses. It does have antiviral and anti-inflammatory properties. Peppermint tea is very good to drink when you have a common cold, as the menthol, which is one of the active ingredients, improves the perception of airflow into the nasal cavities. Also, peppermint tea is very good for improved energy levels and reduce daytime fatigue. So I think many people working in offices, factories, sitting behind a computer on any setting, I think probably around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody kind of flags a little bit. That's when we go make a cup of tea, have something sweet to eat just to boost energy levels up. Whereas a nice cup of hot peppermint tea should do the same thing. Studies have shown that peppermint tea can kill and prevent the growth of common food-borne bacteria such as E. coli, Listeria and Salmonella. So if you ever experience any of those things, drinking peppermint tea does help to relieve the cramps, does help relieve the nausea, and because of the properties of antiviral, antibacterial, it should help get rid of the problem. Peppermint oil does kill several types of bacteria, that can lead to illnesses including streptococcus and pneumonia-linked bacteria. So again, inhaling peppermint, natural peppermint leaves, is so beneficial. It's also a really good choice as a pre-bedtime drink because it is caffeine free, and as it helps relax muscles, you should feel relaxed at bedtime and have a good restful night's sleep. The plus side with peppermint, of course, it is completely calorie free, so that may help satisfy also a sweet tooth and reduce your appetite. Drinking tea may also improve the ability to concentrate and focus, improve alertness and memory. So peppermint in itself has many uses in its natural form, as well as the benefits of having it obviously as an essential oil. So how do we make the tea? Boil up a kettle of water, grab a handful of pre-washed peppermint leaves and place into the boiling water and just leave to steep for 5 minutes. You can strain it and drink it as it is, and it can be drunk hot or cold. For women experiencing menopausal symptoms and hot flushes, drinking cold peppermint tea is very refreshing. It can help to bring the heat down and take the flush off. You can also mix peppermint with lemon juice, which is again a lovely refreshing juice. Lemons are antibacterial, antiviral, antiseptic, and also contain a natural antibiotic in it as well. I'll get on to the lemons in a moment. With the leaves as well, you could actually very finely chop them up and put them into a salad, which gives it a lovely fresh flavour. It's really good along with all the other food that you have in there. Your lettuce, the cucumber, you mix it extremely well with cucumber and it just lifts the salad. So there are many, many uses. I've just literally just touched on a few uses. The next one I'm going to move on to, I think, is lemon. And as we all know, lemon is very rich in vitamin C. Many of us have got lemons in the kitchen. I know I have. I've got about 12 because I have my lemon and honey every morning. And I'm sure that when I got tested for the COVID-19 and it came up positive, I was very lucky because my symptoms were just literally a sore throat and a temperature which lasted for 24 hours. And I'm convinced that drinking the lemon and honey twice a day, morning and night, saved me from maybe more problems. So it is worth thinking about. Some people say they do like to drink lemon at night and in the morning. It also helps remove toxins from the body. If harmful toxins are removed, it improves the immunity and of the body, but it also helps to purify the blood. Lemon water does help keep the body hydrated. It relieves both bloating and constipation. Lemon water acts as a mild diuretic. The antioxidants found in vitamin C help fight free radical damage, keeping the skin looking lovely and fresh, and helps to slow down the aging process. You wouldn't think I was 93, would you? Getting enough vitamin C from the lemon water also really helps the body produce collagen, which is essential in smoothing out lines on the face. Also, obviously, we've all got sort of, well, I think most of us, I don't know, I know I have, is that orange peel look on the hips. So drinking lemon water actually does help. It does make a difference. It is also believed that drinking lemon water can actually aid in weight loss. And drinking it before a meal helps reduce the feelings of hunger while increasing the curb and cravings and cuts down the intake of food. They have a lovely fresh scent, which, as we know, lifts the mood, which also helps relieve stress and does make people feel better. Vitamin C is an essential nutrient that plays a central role in many different aspects of our health, but especially important when it comes to our immunity. In Switzerland, studies showed that getting enough vitamin C from lemons helps decrease the severity and duration of respiratory infections. And as Loretto mentioned, obviously around this time where we're all very worried about COVID COVID-19, we really need to be focusing on our immunity and eating. So I've got a cat with me, and eating extremely well, looking after our health, looking after our family's health. This is why I think lemons are so important. It provides also health benefits because of alkaline water, helping balance your body's pH, which helps optimise overall health. Using the actual lemon itself, putting sliced lemon next to your bed, one, it has a subtle scent, but it also acts as an air freshener and a deodoriser. So it helps improve air quality because of their detoxifying properties. It also aids in pain relief from arthritis and rheumatism as well when drunk. It is a natural stress buster and does stimulate the serotonin in the brain, which regulates anxiety and mood swings. And I think particularly at the moment when we're all restricted on seeing our friends and our family, I think one of the main worries, particularly with us in the health service, is that people will be having obviously low moods. So it's important to look after our mental health as well as our physical health. As I said, it is a stress buster. It does stimulate the serotonin, which regulates anxiety and moods. Serotonin, as we know, is the brain's happy chemical that regulates mood and also balances depression. Another good thing about lemon is that it can help reduce blood pressure and it regulates circulation. Also, another good tip is that ants and mosquitoes hate the smell of lemons and other citrus fruits. So using lemon peel by a window or a door, fresh lemon sliced, it should stop unwanted stinky things coming into your bedrooms at night. You can place it next to your pillow, and the natural sweet smell and the scent of lemons as you're drifting off to sleep is really lovely. You can make up lemon water using, again, you can use peppermint, lemon and honey. Again, boosts up the immune system, works on the happy cells in your brain, loads of benefits there, and it keeps you well hydrated, which again is really important as people don't always drink enough during the day, particularly our elderly who hate getting up and going to the loo. So trying to get them to drink something can be impossible, but giving them this drink will help hydrate their bodies. Can I have the next slide, please? I think it might be, yes, it's ginger. Again, ginger is something I found in my cupboard, powdered ginger, and I'm also very keen on fresh ginger as well, so I do buy an awful lot of fresh ginger. There's many health properties. As we know, it's widely used in cooking, particularly in curries, cakes. It's found in drinks, and it's lovely when blended with fresh lemon. It's one of those easily to get hold of from supermarkets, and using ground ginger in a jar is actually just as good. It's very beneficial to help maintain health. Ginger has been proved to help reduce the risk of diabetes, and again, this is something that is becoming more and more prevalent in our society because of our poor diets, so it's worth eating plenty of ginger. It also has very good anti-inflammatory properties. It does help ease arthritis and rheumatism. I can actually vouch for that. I've been taking ginger myself with turmeric, natural, not powdered or bought, and I've noticed a massive improvement in myself and in my general well-being. Also, ginger is well known for easing upset stomachs, helps with morning sickness for pregnant ladies, may help with heart disease, and also there are some talks being discussed that it can actually lower the risk of cancer. It has a lovely spicy flavour, it's very palatable. Scientists have linked some active compounds with improvements for insulin and metabolism. As ginger contains antioxidants that may reduce cell damage, the root can prevent inflammation in joints, giving pain relief. Mixed with black pepper and curcumin, works to combat painful arthritis. The same anti-inflammatory compounds in ginger can reduce the risk of heart disease, as I said. And in 2016, it has been shown that the intake of ginger can help reduce cholesterol and blood sugar levels. The plus side with ginger, it is a non-expensive herb. You can grow it. I don't know whether we grow it in this country. I believe that it can be grown over here. You don't just need to buy fresh ginger, so you can use powdered ginger. Putting a teaspoonful of ginger in boiling water, adding honey is a very pleasant drink. It's very warming. It's great for colds and flu symptoms. Can I go on to my next slide, if that's possible, please? Black pepper. Just need to find my notes on black pepper. Again, black pepper is something, we've either got it ground black pepper or we've got peppercorns, which we grind, or it's powdered form. Black pepper, again, is something we find in our cupboards and have got many uses as well. It's very high in antioxidant, and as we know, it's used in cooking. It gives flavour to food. But it has a sharp and mildly spicy scent and flavour. It was once known as the king of spices and is used an awful lot in the Ayurvedic medicine. Again, it is high in antioxidants and can prevent free radical damage to your cells. Another thing that's very interesting is that the extract has improved symptoms of degenerative brain diseases. So if you've got somebody with Alzheimer's and dementia, black pepper has been shown that it can help improve memory. It increases the absorption also of essential nutrients and other benefits. Black pepper is warming, it's soothing, it works a little bit like ginger, but maybe not quite so strong in flavour. So again, it's quite a nice herb to use, and it's something else that we all have in our cupboards. And can I have my next slide, please? Oranges, one of my favourites. I think everybody has oranges in the house, either oranges, mandarins, or clementines. It's high in fibre. It contains a small dose of vitamin B, obviously very high in vitamin C, calcium and potassium, also known as the embodiment of the sun, and one of the most popular fruits around the world. As oranges are mostly made up of water, so eating and drinking oranges helps to hydrate the body and aids the body in absorption, and shown to increase the absorption also of iron, and plays an essential role in the metabolism of vitamin B9, some hormones and amino acids. It helps protect the cells from damage, believed to also help fight cancer. Because orange also contain vitamin A, it helps provide eye care, boost immunity, diabetes, and help with weight loss. Oranges, as we know, can be used whole and just peel the segments apart. We can buy orange juice. You can actually use orange peel, and again, putting orange peel into boiling water, mixed with the peel of a lemon and with honey if desired, does make a very pleasant drink. Lady Grey tea contains oranges, Earl Grey contains bergamot. Orange peel makes a really nice herbal tea. It helps to relieve stomach cramps, and also it is appetite stimulant. So it'll help increase appetite, particularly if you've got people as well that are unwell and struggle to eat. The smell of oranges is very uplifting. Getting somebody who isn't particularly well, doesn't manage to eat very much, getting them to eat oranges, they're refreshing, they're nice in the mouth, and it might boost up the appetite for people. And then, can I have my next slide, please?
That's your last slide.
Oh, is it? I thought I'd done.
Yeah, it's
I'd done nothing.
questions.
Oh, question time. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.